Hey Patreon, how are you guys doing? I love you guys. Thank you so much for being here. I'm truly blessed and honored by your presence here and your support. This video is about Taclights and flashlights. First, I'm going to go over Taclights, tactical lights, talking weapon mounted lights. For handguns, for long guns, you can have them on shotguns, rifles, whatever. Pistols, handguns, secondaries, whatever term you choose to use. You see in all my videos, my primaries, my long guns, my ARs, AKs, all those weapon systems have tactical lights on them. My handguns don't all have tactical lights, but I do have tactical lights for them. And along with this topic, I guess, especially for handguns, well, only handguns, if you're going to have tactical lights for your handguns, it is pretty much useless to have a tactical light for your handgun if you don't have a holster that will holster that sidearm, that secondary weapon system, with the tac light on it. You don't want to store your tac light separate. You want to be able to draw that gun when needed, if needed, as a backup, of course, and have your tactical light if need be. And you can use them. I like Streamlight TLR1 HLs. TLR1s are really good tac lights. There's a lot of other good ones out there. Olight makes some good ones. There's other brands out there. Anyway, I like the TLR1 HLs. They're high lumen, which is high lumen necessary? I'm going to get into that a little bit later in the video. What lumens are necessary, what lumens aren't, basically. So yes, holster for that sidearm with a tac light. It's important. There are options out there. Do your research. Safariland makes a lot of them. There's a lot of custom holster manufacturers, people that make holsters, the Kydex holsters, that will make you one, mold you one. T-Rex Arms makes a lot of them also. Really good holsters. There's also like the Blackhawk Omnivore that will basically fit any semi-auto handgun with a specific tac light, because the mounting point, the retention point for the holster is actually the tac light. It retains the retention feature that holds it in place is on the tac light. Which I do have some of those holsters. So far I'm not really too keen on them. Maybe I just need to use it more, because it's just, I don't know. I did a video about that. You can look at that. I think it was on my tac holsters or holsters. I don't know. I forget what the video was. It was on YouTube a while back. I explained that. But that might be your option. Some people love them. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I like the Safarilands. But anyway, enough about that. Lumens. It's a good thing to talk about next. How many lumens do you need? Well, a tac light is not a flashlight. You're not going to use it for searching around for things. You're not going to use it out and about trying to see things, do things with, really. It is going to be in a tactical environment. Predominantly a CQB environment, close-in type stuff. You're not going to use your tac light to illuminate a target 300 yards away. That's just not realistic. That's not what they're for. Now, can they be used for that? Is there an application for that? Sure. Yes, there is. There is a point to that. It's just, as preppers, I'm on the fence about the utilitarian, or basically the value of that. I would say tac light 200 lumen and up. Say 200 to maybe 600, maybe 800 lumen. Say 200, 800 lumen. Do you need to spend a ton of money on a cool kid, tactical, high-speed, low-drag light with a pressure switch and all this stuff? You can, sure. Good quality lights, yes, no problem. Do you see my guns? You've seen my guns. Do I have pressure switches on any of them? No, no pressure switches. Just a thumb switch activation, mounted in a location properly where I can activate it with my thumb of my support hand. On the long gun, on the side opposite of where your face is. So if you're right-handed, it's on the right side. If you're left-handed, it's on the left side of the gun. So if you're seat gripping your gun, you can reach over and activate your tactical light when needed. It doesn't have to be super bright, like I said. It can be predominantly used in close-in engagements. So you don't have to spend a ton of money. What are my tac lights? Predominantly, they're just mag light. Mag light, LED, thumb operated, thumb switch. In the 25 to 35, say $25 to $50 range, depending on if they're the 200 or 300 lumen lights. It's nice to have the capability where you have a high, a low, and a flash, because you can activate that flash to kind of help disorient people in certain situations. It has its uses. The TLR1HL for the handgun has those features. You can also take that same TLR1 that's predominantly made for handguns, and you can mount it to your long gun. You can use that as your rifle tac light. Yes, you may. It's all just personal preference. Like I said, you don't have to spend a ton of money, but get a decent quality light that works. I've been running these Magpul lights, or not Magpul, Maglite lights for a long time. I mean, years and years and years. Some of them 10 plus years, and they're still fine. They operate fine, they work fine. Change the batteries every once in a while, you're good to go. So no, you don't have to, and mounting also, you don't have to get some fancy expensive tactical light mount. A lot of mine are just mounted in old scope rings, the little single piece scope rings that I had laying around in a spare parts bin that I throw all my extra crap gun parts and stuff in that I don't use, stuff I've taken off of guns, stuff I come across, stuff buddies give me, all those kind of things. It's simple. It mounts on the Picatinny rail. You can get ones, yes, that mount right into M-LOK or key mod, stuff like that. They may be lighter. They may be a little more modular, a little more useful, sure. But you don't have to spend a bunch of money. Throw a $25 mag light into an old scope ring that you have. Throw it on your AR. As long as you get the location right, where you can actually get to that where you need it, and then it's opposite your side of your face, then you're good to go. That is a good tac light. Like I said, my tac lights are all in the like $25 to $30 range, with the exception of the TLR1HL. That was, I think it was like 90 bucks I got it for. Normally they're like 100 and 150 something. I got it for like 90 bucks at the exchange on base, on military base. Batteries, I would say try to stick to the more common batteries. The TLR1s use the CR123s, so they're a little less common. But the mag lights use AAAs. Stick to AAAs, AA's, and maybe all the batteries I can think of for everything in my gun, or anything having to do with my guns, my firearms, are all AAAs, AA's, CR123s, or the 2032 flat batteries for optics. And like my EOTechs use AA's. So that's one of those things to think about, is your battery availability and crossover, how the batteries work on different systems. Okay, so to wrap up tac lights, the tactical lights, weapon mounted lights. What are the main main three things I look for when it comes to, or actually, I'll throw in another one. Say 4 things I look for in a tactical light for a handgun or a rifle, for whatever weapon system you're putting it on. A is quality, good quality. I'm not saying it has, like I said, I'm not saying it has to be super high-end, hundreds of dollars, stuff like that, with all this fancy doodads. No, it doesn't. Just a good quality light that won't fail you when you need it. These could be had for, you know, 30 bucks or sometimes under. Weight. Weight is a big one with me. For handguns and for pistols. For handguns and for long guns. More so on long guns, because that's the one that I have to hold up, you know, for longer periods of time. And overall, they weigh more than a handgun. A handgun, I'm going to have both my hands on, hopefully, and I'll be able to hold it up there longer, just because the overall system doesn't weigh anything close to what the overall system for my primary does. So weight matters. It's a big deal. I don't want some big, heavy, big, huge, you know, lens flashlight, you know, illuminating things 2 miles away when I don't need it. I don't need that. I need 200 to 600, maybe 800 lumen in a close-in environment, predominantly. I'm not saying others don't have uses, like I said. But, so quality, weight, batteries. What kind of batteries does it use? We just talked about that. The 4 batteries that I try to stick to. With the 2 that I really would like to stick to be AA, AAA. But, you know, handgun, Taclights predominantly use the CR123s. What is the 4th? So we got, let me see, quality, weight, batteries, lumen, I guess. Actually, I was thinking it was something else that I was thinking of for them. But I'll go with lumen, as long as it's adequate for what I need. Price, of course, still comes into play. Yeah, we don't want to spend money where we don't have to. That's one point I'm trying to make. You don't have to have this fancy stuff, all these tactical doodads all over your rifles. You can see my weapon systems and see what I have on them. I have what I need and nothing else. I spend money in certain areas, yes. I don't spend money in other areas. I get what I feel is necessary to do the job, and some things that just make it a little bit better, a little bit nicer, that I tailor to myself and my desires and my needs as far as it comes to weapon system. Okay, enough about tactical lights. Flashlights, totally different topic. Bright, 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 bright. I want lumens, baby. Although not always in some situations. You can still use the little $25 mag light, 200 lumen tactical light that you put in your rifle. Get a couple extra. Use them as flashlights in your gear and equipment, stuff like that. Throw a red lens on, a blue lens, a green lens. Use them for reading maps when you're out and about. Red is really good color lens. Get a good red lens, because red light doesn't affect your night vision as much as others. Yes, it still affects your night vision. Everything does. But it doesn't affect it anywhere near as much. It hardly affects it at all. So you can put that red lens on there, good quality red lens. It's, you know, not a cheapo that's just going to let the light through anyway. To read your maps, do whatever you need to in the dark without ruining your night vision. On your post, on your LPOP, on your guard post, on your fixed fighting position, while you're stopped to read your maps, compass, stuff like that at night. But still, make sure that you're covering it. You're covering your area. Throw on your wooby or your poncho or something like that to cover that light, because it's still going to get out. It won't travel as far. Red light won't travel as far as white light, but you still want to cut down your light signature. So do that. So that has some implications. You may want a smaller lumen light for that, just for looking around, doing things. But you also want some of those lights that reach out 50,000 miles and illuminate the sun. You guys know what I mean. Definitely has its place. Have a couple of those. Have some of the light, the smaller ones also, though. It would be very advantageous to reach out and be able to see if you're in the mountains and you're on a ridge, and what's over on that ridge next, over there, and you can have somebody looking through their magnified optic and you hit that ridge with a really high power, power of the sun, flashlight, and they can see what's going on over there. That can be definitely advantageous. Or as a long-range signaling device, or as a blinding somebody, even close in device. Lots of applications. I'm not going to sit there and list every application you can use for a flashlight, but have a good quality, 50 bajillion candle power, lumen, stuff like that, as well as some smaller ones, just light duty use around the campsite, around your bug out location, whatever it may be, in a tactical environment, doing the things. So I think that covers the topic of flashlights pretty darn well, and Taclights. Like I said, don't worry about being tactical. Get what works. Don't worry about the latest fads, the latest cool kids gear. Being tactical is not going to keep you alive. Real world skills and training is going to keep you alive. Instead of buying that $100, $150 tack light and all the fancy doodads that go with it, spending a couple $100, buy the $30 flashlight, throwing in some cheapo scope rings onto your Picatinny rail section that you added to your M-Lock or your key mod rail, and be done for under $50, or say around $50. Spend that other couple $100 in training ammunition and get out and do the things. Train real world, or shoot, for the money you save for that setup, cut corners here, a couple there, don't eat out pizza a couple weekends over the course of a month or two, and save up enough money to afford a good quality tactical training course or a firearms course. That's money well spent right there. Training, real world environment, knowing how to do the things. Doesn't matter how cool you look, it matters how good you are and how highly trained and effective you are in a fight. I'd take a rack rate AR and a couple mags with decent ammo and go out and be able to do the things with some buddies that are highly trained than all the Gucci gear in the world. So, enough said about that. I love you guys. Thank you for being here. You're truly a blessing. Have a wonderful day, and blessings to you and yours.